Welcome to episode 36 of Curious Conversations. Today we're going to do a Hyrox Birmingham recap. It is, was it today? Saturday. We raced on Thursday night, and we're just going to run it like we usually do. What was the day of the race? What was kind of run up to it? How did the race go? Kind of comparisons to our last race. We'll run through the race, kind of what changes we made, and then what's next. So, firstly, probably the last recap was Oslo, and we mentioned that what's next for us was Dublin and London, and we obviously done Birmingham. The reason being was, when did you text me?
Text you on Saturday night. So last Saturday, a week ago today.
Yeah, so Saturday night. Was it on Sunday?
No, it was the Saturday, because you were away with the farm.
Saturday.
On the Saturday. And then we done
And you text me. Yeah. And then we spoke about it the next day, I think it was. So Aiden texted me saying there was tickets there. So we decided on that Sunday that we were getting tickets. And we just got them. We just realised that we were going to just drive down on the day, back up that night, because Aiden was working the next day at 6 a.m. in sun. So
we'll get to that.
We'll get to that bit of what it kind of looked like. So the day of the race was a busy day, just as it always is. A usual Thursday for us to start off with. Both of us were coaching in the morning, so up at 4:30 in the gym for 5:45, coaching from 6 till 11. Then we had a team meeting straight after, up until about 12:30.
Yeah.
Quickly ate something, and then we just headed on the road straight away. It was a 4-5 hour drive to Birmingham with a couple of stops in between. Yeah. We got there, and we entered the stadium an hour out.
An hour out, aye.
Yeah, so we entered the stadium an hour out to drop our bags, warm up, and race.
It was a quick turnaround.
It was a very quick transition, and I liked it that way. What about you?
Same. Like, I think that's something that we learned from Cardiff, that we trialled out in Oslo and obviously Birmingham. Like the whole kind of reason Birmingham came about was because we know that once London's finished, we're not really going to get the opportunity to compete for another wee while. So I was sitting in my gaff on Saturday night, kind of just chilling, and I knew that Birmingham was going to be one of the biggest events. I think it is the biggest event ever for Hyrox. There's already been 16,000 athletes competed, and there's still today to go and tomorrow. So I was looking on the Hyrox page, and I seen that there was pro doubles tickets there. There was pro doubles tickets there for the Wednesday, Thursday and Saturday. The Thursday kind of just ended up to be like the only time we could really do, to be honest. So texted Anton, let him know, and as soon as I texted him, I knew he was going to say yeah. Like I know this guy well, and I knew that he would have been down for it. So that's how it kind of came about. But I liked doing that. I liked like quick turnaround, getting there. Like, I think it was a good amount of time for us to drop our bags and just get straight into. Like, we didn't really have much time to think. We just straight to it, and yeah, it was good. Class.
Yeah, I think like the actual, because we'd already been through a big 16-week block for Oslo. Like we're still very fit off the back of that.
Totally.
So that's what was going through my head when you asked me the question. I was just like, yeah, I feel fit. This is another chance to improve from Oslo there, and try out a couple of new things, which we'll get onto in a minute. Let's talk about the actual race. How did you feel during the race?
So I felt really good, especially at the start. I think that coming into it, so obviously on the Saturday we booked it. We actually had a Sunday conditioning session the day after we booked it, and I was feeling my calves that full week. We actually get 20 minutes into the conditioning session and I had to stop. I had to pull out because I started getting shooting pain in my calf. So the full week I had it in my head that it was just kind of, that could be an issue coming into race day, but thankfully no issues at all. Felt great. Didn't really feel it whatsoever until at the wall balls. So that was kind of in the back of my mind. But as I say, when I got into the race, I felt really calm at the start. Like we spoke about that today. A lot of the time when we get into the tunnel, there's like a little bit of nervous energy. Like you're maybe like in your head a wee tiny bit. But for that race, I was just calm, collected, and knew exactly what I had to do. And I could feel that from Anton as well, to be fair. So I think we were both kind of coming into it in the exact same kind of mind space.
Yeah, just think we were chatting on the way down as well, of like how you just wanted to go into the race with a calm mind. I think that always helps pre-framing it, like how you want to feel in an hour's time, in 2 hours' time when you're doing that. So even when I was doing the warm-up, I was thinking that in my head, just like, it's just another race for us. It's another time to try and improve from last time. So yeah, I was the same throughout the race as well. I felt very calm. I felt very present within the race, and I felt very in control of myself. And that's something we'll go on to talk about during the race. Of like in the past during some races, we would panic on certain stations, and like, oh, we're not doing this quick enough. Like, oh, I've stepped out the line, whatever, done this, done that, and it didn't feel like that this time. Like there was a couple of ones where we went intentionally slower on the workouts, which then allowed us to push on the runs more, which helped a lot. But yeah, let's talk about comparisons from Oslo a couple of weeks back to Birmingham. So first off, places. So this is something that still has to be confirmed, but in Oslo we got our third flag for pro doubles. That's what we'll focus on speaking about just now. Birmingham is to be confirmed because Wednesday night pro doubles is done, Thursday night pro doubles is done, which obviously we competed in. Tonight, like as of recording this, there's 3 waves of pro doubles still to go, men's pro doubles still to go. So as it stands, we're second. So we would need to have 2 people place above us in terms of get faster times than us in our age group for us to knock us off the top 3 and knock us off podium. So that's to be confirmed. And like, listen, of course we'd love to come in the top 3, but we also know that we have 2 more races before the end of the year that we have the chance of doing that. So, and something we've not even mentioned is if we come top 3, we grab a place in World Championships next year in Stockholm, which makes it even more exciting to podium if we can. So it's like that would be like a dream come true almost, something that we've spoke about since the start of training together, of like a huge life goal really. Like competing in a World Championships is a mad experience. Even just saying that you've done that is pretty cool.
1,000,000%. It's for me is so big. I think that if you look at it, this is probably our first proper crack of the whip in terms of our first Hyrox season, and to think that so early in to the season there's an opportunity to qualify in our second race. I think we're 1 spot off in Oslo.
Yep.
So if we can get that tonight, obviously, as you say, like dream come true for us this season, and just allows us to focus all in on that.
Yep. Let's talk about the actual race.
Yeah.
So running was the best it's ever been in Birmingham for us.
It's best it's ever been, like in all of our races, never mind our pro. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, like we're fastest by a good bit in terms of our runs in Oslo. Our average run was 4:01 pace, so 4:01 kilometres pace for like the average over the 8Ks, and this time it was 3:48. So a whole 13 seconds knocked off of our average pace, which is a bit mad to kind of 2 weeks after, but I think we'll go into why we think that was as well. Like when we talk about the changes that we made. But workout, so the functional pieces, we were slower in Birmingham than we were in Oslo. So Oslo, we were sitting at 23:55 to complete all our stations, and in Birmingham we were 24:34. So about 40, just under 40 seconds in the grand scheme of things isn't a lot of time. However, the changes we made, like during the race and kind of pre-race as well, like subsided for the faster running. And they changes were.
Aye, it makes sense. Even just looking at that just now, like it makes sense, and I can see why that is because we made those decisions to kind of change it up a little bit. So we're speaking to our good mate Luke beforehand because they were competing just before us, and he told us that the rock zone was quite big. So I think instantly, like when he said that to me and Anton, like both in our heads, we were like have intention of like running fast out of the stations and running the rock zone really fast as well. Just cause like when you do have a longer rock zone, like you need to make up that kind of time. We changed up a little bit of the sleds as well. So the sleds for both of us are kind of different. So Anton is like better at the sled push, so we decided to chop it up a little bit. So the first 2 lengths for the sled push, we would go half, and then the last 2 lengths Anton would take 3/4, and then I would just finish off, and that worked really well for both of us. And then with the sled pull, we done the opposite, so I took a little bit extra on the last 2 as well. That sled pull though.
No, so this was a good point to talk about.
Yeah.
For the sled pull, we thought the sled, well, you actually didn't struggle that much with Oslo, the sled pull, but that's one that I struggled with the most, and I felt the worst after. I just felt like it was so heavy, and it was the first time I'm competing on the new Hyrox carpets as well, so I really noticed the difference. But this time around, it was hardly moving. I think the track that we were on, or maybe just the track in general, was it was like tougher to pull. So usually to get halfway, so to get like, what's that, 12.5 metres, 6 metres in, it would usually take us 3 pulls to get there, like on average, and it was taking us 5 pulls to get there. So it was like we were intentionally, we were slower unintentionally first, but then during it we calmed ourselves down. We were like, right, be intentional with this, let's not panic and like absolutely scald ourselves here. Let's focus on doing it well, maybe doing it a bit slower than we would, and then push on the runs afterwards. And for me, that was a saviour. I felt really good coming out of sled pull. Your lower back was hurting a touch, wasn't it?
Yeah.
But yeah, it really worked for me.
That's probably my biggest takeaway in the race. Like the biggest standout was like how calm and composed we were in that situation, because it would have been so easy to just like panic and be like, oh shit, fuck, this is like how typical, like, and start like playing the victim. But both of us were like cheering each other on and like allowing each other to understand like this isn't us, this is the carpet, and get paid off for sure.
Because when you panic, that's when mistakes happen.
Totally. When you panic and you're exerting yourself more, like when you're panicking, you're not doing it correctly, you're trying to rush things, which is getting your heart rate more jacked up. So that just gives me confidence to know like when things like that do happen in a race, which inevitably will happen, we can stay composed and just make sure that we're getting through it.
Yeah, 100%. I think one thing that we've not even kind of noted down that just came to me as well was before we went on the race, it was a podcast that you listened to about one of the Elite 15 doubles pairs, and it was talking about how in doubles you should race each other in the during the race, and that was like bang on with how we raced that one,
Yeah.
because probably half the runs you were in front, and then the other half of the runs I was in front.
Yeah.
To the point where, like, whatever station we were either finishing on or that we felt a little bit more fucked coming off the back of, the other one who had more energy would push on, and the other one would just try and hold on to them throughout, and it worked out perfect because it was like pretty much 4 and 4 like out of the runs where I was out in front or you were out in front.
I noticed that during the race as well. Like I felt myself kicking on more when you were ahead of me.
Yeah.
I was like, I need to hold on to him here.
Yeah, I was the exact same. Because the first couple, you were ahead of me.
Yeah.
And that's when I felt like I need to hold on here. But then as the race went on, like, I was feeling good at points, you were feeling good at points. So
that got me quite jacked up during the race as well. So we were, when we came out the pen, there was these boys that were just out in front of us.
English boys.
Hi, English boys that came just out in front of us, came into the ski just before us, and on that run, we were kind of like still sitting behind them, and Anton just fucking zoomed right past them, man. I was like, let's go, just get pure jacked up, and I was like, right, we're in a race now, and thankfully held on, so we won our wave.
That's what it felt like though. It felt like there was a point where like they were right in front of us, but like we were just holding on, but we could push a little bit more, and I thought this might get in their heads a wee bit here. So I went in the left of them and zoomed on a wee bit more, but it worked because we came into all the other stations before them.
Aye.
And
because I remember you doing that, and I was like, good idea, bro. I like that for you.
Yeah, so that was the slide differences. We made another couple of changes going into it. So one was an intentional change before the race. The one we're going to speak about now was one during the race, just because of how we were feeling. We didn't plan this ahead. So we came in after burpees. We ran into the row pretty fast. It was a pretty fast run into the row, but we were both pretty gassed from that. I always am after burpees. That run's always the toughest for me into row. That's the hardest run for me always. So going into that row, heart rate was jacked. You were feeling that a good bit.
Yeah, for
so
sure.
what we do on the row is Aiden starts 350. I then do 450, between 450 and 500, and then Aiden finishes off. I usually end up doing about 475, give or take. And how that works really well for us, because I come in off that where my heart rate's jacked. I recover pretty quickly during that 350. That's where I have my gel. But what we done was we intentionally went a little bit slower so that we could push on the run, which helped us a lot again. You're usually pulling a 145.
Aye, around about that 145. That's what I was pulling in Oslo.
145 on the row, and you were pulling 148, or take?
148, 149.
Yeah.
It was like, we didn't even speak about it, but like, I knew like I wasn't going to be able to push massively on the row because of how I was feeling coming into it. Because I think that was one of the runs where I was chasing you a wee bit because I was feeling it. I was feeling it so much coming into it. So I knew that I had to take it down a wee tiny bit, just so I could crack on the next half of the race, and it worked out.
Yeah, and it's only like it sounds like that's not much of a difference going from 145 to 148, but it really does make a difference.
It does.
Like same with the ski as well. If it's just a couple of seconds difference, it can go from gassing you to letting you recover. And
Totally.
For me, I was the exact same. I'm usually pulling 142, 143, and I was about 145, 146 for my row. So it was a bit slower than our Oslo pace, but on the other end, it was better for us.
Well, if you can even just look at the stats on Roxfit, like when you see the run after that, and then you see the farmer carries.
Yeah.
Our farmer carries were quite quick, to be fair. So you can just see that was the right decision to make, and we didn't even really discuss it.
Yeah. Final change that we made, and this was intentional going into the race. I think did we speak about it during the Sunday conditioning, or was it after that?
I think it was the Sunday conditioning when we were talking about it. Yeah.
We're talking about how on the lunges we usually not drag them out, but like we usually kind of
We'll focus on hitting the reps rather than moving at pace.
moving quickly. Yeah. Whereas this time around, we just moved quickly, and it actually, my legs were better during it because of it. My cramp actually so during the farmer's carry, I didn't actually tell Aiden at the time. I told him after the race, but as soon as I picked up the 32 kilo kettlebells, I always start farmer's carries. My full right quad went into cramp to the point where it was like I was almost limping a little bit, but you couldn't tell because you don't particularly look normal doing a farmer's carry anyway. And it didn't disappear until I started doing the lunges. So it was like during that whole run from farmer's carries afterwards, that was one of the runs that I was holding on to Aiden, and it was just like, I was just like in my head, it'll go away, it'll go away, it'll go away. But then the first length on the lunges, that's when I thought, oh, this is going to get worse, but it actually disappeared during that. So I don't know if it just like, I don't know what happened there. Mm-hmm. It just disappeared.
Totally.
But that worked really well because that moved quicker. We felt better during them.
It made, definitely. I think that it also felt like when it wasn't too taxing. Because see, if you think about it, see if you've got a set like rep range in your head, like there might be when you're in the race and you're like, okay, I'm feeling it here. But when you're trying to kind of push for those reps, you could be overexerting yourself a wee bit. So the main focus for us, obviously coming into the lunges, was to just really move quick and move efficient. And then once you feel like you can't move as fast anymore, just swap over.
Yep. And then from lunges, there was just one more run into the wall balls, and we sent that last run.
We sent it.
I think I led on that last one. After the lunges,
yep.
we just went for it. And coming into the wall balls, I'll start wall balls. I done 20 first.
Yep.
I done 20 first. I got 3 no reps during that as well. I got 2 right at the start. But once I got into a rhythm of it, it moved well. Got to 20. Aiden then ran it up to 47. So 27 reps. I then took it to 75, and then Aiden finished off with the last 25, with the 99th one being a no rep.
I know. Put it down, man. I was like, shit, I need to pick this fucker back up.
But yeah, we managed to cross the line in 58:52. Almost, I think it was 58 seconds off our Oslo time, 57 seconds off our Oslo time. Almost a minute, whatever it was.
Yeah.
And yeah, we came off the back of it buzzing, like so buzzing. I think during the wall balls, we both went to that place as well where
totally
like we're hurting. That was the first time I thought I was going to pass out after. So when I came in at 47, I knew that Aiden was hurting, and I was like, I'm going to have to try and go like more than 20 to 25 here. So managed to, don't even know what that is, 28 or something, 28. But about 20 in, I was like, I could really stop here. But after
that was the exact same as me on the last 25. I'm like, I was playing it in my head, like I could really start to feel myself like going to that point where you're like full exertion.
Yeah.
And like I had Anton and Venla, one of the girls that comes to Sin. She was a head coach and she was counting down for me, and you know what, it helped.
Yeah. It
helped because I was like, just hold on. And I know that I can, like when it comes to wobbles, I can hold on longer than you think. It is kind of a lot to do with the mental side of things when you're doing wobbles.
Yeah.
I would say for me, that was probably the most rewarding. I've got any cramp there.
You've got any cramp?
That was probably the most rewarding part, for sure, was like coming away from it after the wobbles, being like, right, I went there. Yeah. I went there and I gave it all, and we crossed the finish line, both knowing.
Yeah. Yeah, we both crossed the finish line. You were done in though.
I was gone, mate. I was finished.
He had white spit all around his mouth. I was like, just
He
looking
thought
at
I
him,
was
and I was
dying.
like, is this guy okay?
He thought I was dying. And see, when that happens, bro, I'm okay. I'm fine, I'm
To be
fine.
fair, I went and grabbed some water for you, and then when I came back, you were
Aye.
perked back up. You'd recovered a bit more, but
As I was saying there as well, that like, thinking about it and looking back at that race, that was probably the most rewarding race I've ever done. Most rewarding, because there was points where I had to really, really dig deep, and there was points where I was like proper needing to like hold on to like stay with Anton, and I done that, like, because it's so easy for you to like be like, oh, I can't go anymore, and there was so many points where I felt like I was playing in my head. You need to hold on, and every single time I was saying that to myself in my head, I would do that. So crossing the finish line, thinking about it, looking back at all the other races, I know it's kind of recency biased, but I'd probably say that was my most rewarding race.
when you're at that point where you had to dig so deep and go to that place, what are you saying to yourself in your head? Keep going,
It's
if you can remember.
It's such a cool thing to talk about, because I love the thought of just like going someplace that you like, where you're having that conversation with yourself. Because I can always, every single time I'm in a race, I can remember the times. I can remember the points where you're like, right, okay, I'm genuinely having a full conversation with myself when I'm running around the track. And I remember, I think it was, I don't know if it was after the pool or the run from burpees to row. And I was saying to you on the way up, remember, I was like, I just want to go into that point. I want to get to that point where I'm starting to question if I can hold on. Because that's when you really see what you're made of. And I remember playing in my head, like, you wanted this, you said to Anton before this, so you said you wanted to be in this position, so you're going to sit in it and you're going to be in it, and you're going to push rather than let go. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's the things that, as you go on, as you do more races, you can start to like become like almost like friends with that place. Like you can almost become comfortable in that position. Like you already know it's inevitable that you're going to get there. So like the question you need to ask yourself is, how do I deal with this when I get there? And as I say, the more and more you race, the more you can deal with it. Your threshold builds.
I listened to a really good podcast on this. An ultra runner called Courtney Dawalter, who's one of the best in the world. She's a woman who like smokes all the guys. Turns up to races and smokes them all, and she's like a very strange athlete as well, to the point where she's not like your usual athlete, where she's like dialed in mindset. She's like such a happy person and such like a dead bubbly person, and our training's even like quite strange as well, where it's not like regimented. It's like how she kind of feels on the day, but she always speaks about the pain cave and that dark place you get into with training. She says you need to become friends with it. You need to get comfortable within the most uncomfortable places, which she's done over and over and over again, managing to beat people by like hours when she does these mad races, like 250-mile races and stuff. But yeah, like that, I resonate with that of just getting used to being in that, and it comes through training. Like there's days at track where you get into that place. There's days during racing where you get into that place, but it's like getting friendly with it.
Totally, it's like exposure to it. The more and more you start to feel that feeling, it just like your threshold builds. It's like fitness.
Yes. Post-race thoughts. What were the post-race thoughts?
Post-race thoughts for me, I actually kind of got the chance to reflect a little bit this morning on it, and the feeling of excitement and also like pride, pride, like and being proud of myself, being proud of Anton, and that's like in a greater kind of thing. Like I'm proud to be Anton's double partner. I'm proud to show up and be able to do these things, but also like it just just feels great to just have that kind of aspect of sport, like having your partner there. And I was just really grateful, feeling like really grateful this morning as I was reflecting, and just made me excited for the next good few weeks that we've got coming up, because we've got on our 2 races coming up. So I think that race has put us in a really good position when it comes to our mindset and the things that we need to focus on moving on.
Yeah. For me, I'm very similar in that sense, but I done my reflection yesterday, and I was writing down a lot of things, and one of the things was that we're obviously close. Like, we'll find out tonight if we get a world championship spot. But as I said earlier on, it's like that's like such a huge thing, and I feel like maybe because of social media and like we know quite a lot of people who do Hyrox and do like fast times, that it maybe almost gets glazed over a little bit, that's not that big a thing and like not that good a thing almost. I feel like that might just be in my head. But then when I was reflecting on it, I was like, that's so cool. Like, being that, not even if we qualify or what, but just being that close and putting all your effort into one thing and trying really hard at something and getting better at it, that's so cool to do and to be a part of. And it comes from a pride standpoint and being proud of yourself, but also just the awareness of that. It's a big thing.
I totally understand that as well, because like, as you say, we know so many people that are like insane at Hyrox, and like you see times, you see like efforts and stuff like that, and you almost like, because everyone's exact same, you see that and then you're like, fuck, I need to do better. But you don't actually like step back and like look at like your journey and see how far you've came. And when you do that, when you do focus on like the things that you're doing and achieving, that's when you start to understand like we're doing some cool stuff here.
Yeah.
And it is something that you do need to think about.
Yeah, like something we said this morning was if when we done our first race, like first doubles race together in Glasgow, we would have been absolutely buzzing, but also probably telling the person telling us that you're lying if we managed to get a pro doubles time of sub 59.
Because we didn't actually plan on doing a pro race until like December.
Yeah, until Madrid, because we didn't think we were
ready.
quote unquote ready.
Aye.
And it's like, you're never going to be ready unless you do it. And that's something that we speak to clients about all the time. I don't know if I'm ready to do that. Don't know if I'm ready to do my first 5k. Don't know if I'm ready to do my first 10k. It's like, you're never really going to be until you are, until you just do it. And very similar with the pro, what we done.
That's it, exactly. And you learn on the job. At the end of the day, like you learn on the job, and you by you gaining that experience, it just makes like all the other like kind of up and coming situations and scenarios that you need to deal with easier to deal with, because you've had that exposure, and that's what that race felt like, to be fair.
Hyrox Birmingham, you were amazing.
Yeah.
Let's talk about what's next.
What's next? So, next race, we have got Dublin in 2 weeks. I'm looking forward to this one. This one's going to be great. Good energy. We're flying out on the Wednesday morning.
Yep.
Flying out on the Wednesday morning. Going to compete on the Wednesday night. That one's going to be great as well, because we've got our good friends Drew and Anna that are going to be there supporting us as well.
Shout out Drew, by the way.
Yeah,
for
the content.
The content king. He was working down in London on the Thursday there, and then instead of flying up to Glasgow, he got a train to Birmingham to come watch us, come support us, and it really helped. We also had a bunch of SIN members there as well, which was a huge help. It genuinely was, like seeing their faces, cheering us on. It was just such a buzz. So thank you to all of them as well.
Yeah.
But yeah, we have Anna and Drew coming on the Wednesday.
Dublin will be a sick one as well, because there's obviously not a massive amount you can do in 2 weeks to like change your fitness, but again, as I was saying, the experience from Oslo, the experience from Birmingham, that's just going to give us so much more of an advantage coming into Dublin, because we know what we can do now. So it's just about taking it as it comes and doing as much as we can, giving it our all.
Yep. Then after Dublin, we have London, and that will be our final race of the year. London Hyrox Pro Doubles, that's in 5 weeks' time. That is Saturday the 5th, is it?
I think 5th
of December.
4th or 5th,
First weekend in December, whatever it is. And yeah, that's going to be our final one. That is also a regionals, isn't it?
Regionals, aye. It's a regionals for Europe.
Yeah.
Isn't it?
So we know for a fact that that's going to be probably the most stacked in the whole of the UK in terms of the Hyrox season. That will be the biggest competition, and also all the best people will be there, all the best athletes.
Yep.
So it'll be really good to actually just be there with people like that and see how they move. We already done that in Birmingham there with a couple of boys that we know. Just seeing them race, it just spurs you on as to where you want to get to.
Totally.
So yeah, Dublin 2 weeks, London in 5 weeks. What are we going to focus on from now until then? Obviously 5 weeks isn't a lot of time, but what's the focus for us?
The main focus is just kind of getting that running up to speed, and just making sure that we're dialing in on that. I think that obviously, as you say, 5 weeks isn't a massive amount of time, but that's going to continue. Like, we're going to be focusing on running for a longer period of time, coming into the start of the year, first portion of next year, because we want to, like, our goal is to specialise in doubles. We want to make sure that we're focusing all in on that. And it's doubles is a running game, so we need to make sure that it's top for our coming events, and just dialing in on that.
That is the aim, just to get faster, get more volume with running as well. Our training has changed quite a bit from before Oslo to now. We're quite a lot of like strength and conditioning focused and kind of base building beforehand, whereas now it's kind of we only have 2 strength sessions across the week. 1 conditioning session, then the rest is kind of like bike and run.
Yeah.
Like with predominance on running as well. So yeah, it's a exciting time the next 5 weeks. Again, getting prepared for them. We'll be running some recap videos, podcasts on that, and yeah, be ready for that.
For sure. Looking forward to it. We've got a nice 5 weeks coming up.
Yeah, and you'll know on the next podcast if we manage the podium.
Yeah.
If you're following us on Instagram, we'll post tonight as well. If we get in, if we don't get in, whatever. We'll
The
just be
suspense
focusing on.
is real.
Yeah, we'll just be focusing on the next one, anyways.
Yep. Regardless.
Yeah. But yeah, again, huge thank you to anyone who listens. Time and time again, I get people having conversations with me, messaging me, and I didn't even know that they listen to the podcast. Podcasts are weird like that because like people don't like it, people don't like comment on it. Really, it's just like people follow you or subscribe. Subscribe, by the way, if you haven't, and follow on Spotify, whatever you're listening to. But yeah, it's like people come like speak to you and they're like about the podcast, and you're like, you listen?
I genuinely.
You listen. But yeah, we appreciate the support. We appreciate you all massively. Anyone who listens, anyone who takes anything from this, if you could share it with a friend who is maybe just getting into Hyrox, who wants to like hear about certain changes that we've made, or just in general. I know the podcast is way more than Hyrox. It's more kind of development overall that we focus on, and pretty much just passing on what we've learned ourselves and giving out free information to anyone who listens.
Totally.
But yeah, love you all. See you on the next one.
Stay curious.
Remember to stay curious.